Shabana, in Godmother, the entire body language is so interesting. Right now, it's being copied by one of the TV
Yeah.
serials. Even the costume is kind of copied from there. But I know for sure that you don't know to drive, and you drive a jeep. You don't know to fire, and you have used a gun. And also, you have used your left hand to sign. I was just wondering what made you turn into a lefty in this film.
You know, it was really Vinay, who is the director and who is the writer of the film and who's a very close friend of mine. And he just thought, he's a lefty. And he thought that if I used my left hand, it would just be slightly more unfamiliar. And that in my attempting to do that, it would create a different body language. So he helped me
Also, the
in
fact that
that.
you are uneducated and have perhaps just learned to sign or something.
Yeah, yeah. But I think it was basically to see that when you're using your left hand, your body language will. But, you know, there is something about body language in this film that, since you've just seen it, I'll tell you. And this didn't necessarily come to me while I was doing the film. It was in retrospect that I realized it. That Rambhi, when she's first put in that position of her husband, she hasn't experienced any power. She's just been put there. And so, in order to feel powerful, she imitates what is her husband's body language. So, the first time you see her consciously sit in the way that she used to see her husband sitting. And I realized that this came from the fact that in our society, women are always made to occupy less space so that they don't look like they've spread themselves. Even in school, in convent schools, we are told to cross our legs and sit in such a way that the place that you occupy shouldn't become. Whereas men take it for granted the whole world is there. वो क्या ऐसे करके बैठेंगे कहीं भी देखो पान शॉप पे बैठे तो ऐसे करके बैठते हैं तो उसमें what is very interesting in Rambhi is that, see, when she stands like that. It is a conscious imitation of the man occupying all this space. It's a mimicry. It's not something that she actually experienced. Much later in the film, after her son is born, and you realize that she is actually now experiencing power, her movements are far more languid. And they're real. And they are her own. And they're feminine. And yet they have a touch of the male which comes from being empowered. That I think is interesting because body language is so important for an actor. And another moment that I would like to speak about here is when Rambhi first gets into office. I just felt somehow that it would not look real that she should be sitting at the office table completely comfortable with that. Because she's just won the election and then you're seeing her. And I just felt that Rambhi sitting on that desk would not look comfortable. So I kept telling Vinay, I said, I don't want her to be on that. What can I do? What can I do? And we were just scratching our heads when I said, why don't you get me a broom and get me a peon? And when you first find me in the office, instead of sitting on the desk, I am asking the peon to clean the cobwebs. And he thought it was wonderful because metaphorically, it was also about this woman coming into this space and she's going to clean it off its cobwebs. And it actually came from the fact that when I first went to office ever in my life, I had just become chairperson of the Children's Film Society. And nobody in my house had ever gone to an office, neither my father nor my brother, because they were all artists and they hadn't gone. And so I was the first person who ever went to an office. And I was very uncomfortable with that table. And so the first thing that I did is I arranged the table, I brought things into it, I changed it around to make it my space. And I think it was somewhere that helped me get into this space.
You know, because we've just watched the film, I was also thinking that this is perhaps the only and the first time that a Hindi film heroine has played the female underworld dawn. They have played negative roles and they played the avenging angels and all kind of things. Weren't you scared of what kind of an image you were going to get? What made you do it and what made Vinay offer you this film?
Well, it's very interesting because Vinay says that he came to me and he said he wanted to do a film with me and gave me a script which I didn't like. And I said, I'm not interested in this. And he was very hurt. And I said, listen, Vinay, if you want to do a film with me, you have to give me a script that I will like or an idea. And it's very interesting. He just came to me and he said, I've thought of a character, and the character is called Godmother. And he saw this image clearly. It was just an image. And that image was a cigarette in the hand, but with an Indian look, not like the Western person that you associate it with. And it was this, and he showed me a photograph. And I said, okay, work on this. And then he got it all together.